What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Flying Brian's Garage. Today we're going to be heading over to a buddy of mine's house. Y'all have seen him on the channel before. Shaggy with Shaggy Small Engines. Shaggy's Repairs on Facebook. I had originally gotten this go-kart from him, and we were going to do something with it, but it's been sitting back here for a while now, and he had just texted me earlier and asking me if I still had it. He has a family that's looking for a go-kart, and honestly, I don't have all the parts that I need to put this thing together. It needs quite a bit, and I don't really have an engine for it. The engine I was going to put on it is off of my generator, and I'd rather leave my generator completed. So we're actually going to take and load this thing up on the trailer today. We're going to take it over to Shaggy Small Engines, and we're going to do a little trade. I don't know what we're going to swap for yet. Kind of just, he said just to come over, take a look, get my hand with a couple of things, and yeah, we can swap this out. He can get what he needs, and see about getting a new project for the shop. Maybe something I don't have to put really much money into, which would be beneficial right now, seeing that everything is very, very low budget to no budget. So yeah, that would be a big help. Give me something else to work on and a new project for the shop. So what we're going to do is, let's go ahead, and we've got to get the John Deere off of the trailer, because the trailer's hooked to the red tow rig. We got to get it back here, get it unloaded, get the go-kart loaded up. Then we got to go take and get the trailer hooked to the van, and then we can get on the road. So let's get all that done and get over here and see what we're going to be bringing home. I'm excited. Alright. The trusty Craftsman. New build. Previous videos, I actually brought the John Deere up to the carport, the shop up here, with this rig, but realized that I don't really have the time to work on it yet, so we're going to put it back down in the yard for now. Well, focus on other things. I know the camera's at a little bit of an angle, but it is what it is. take this up here to the driveway, get her strapped down, get everything ready to go. Alright, we got our go-kart loaded up on the trailer, strapped down, loaded to the van, and we're ready to hit the road. So, let's hit the road. Guys, so we offloaded the go-kart. This is Shaggy's, with Shaggy Small Engines new project. It is a Yard Machines F&R drive. It's like a late 90s Yard Machines. He wants to build into a Gen 2 of what we built the last time on the channel for him. We built that low and slow, or low and fast dirt track donut mower, but we're going to go a different route with this one. Slam it, 27 horse V-twin, got a seat, got a whole bunch of parts for it, and we've got a couple projects to take back to the shop here within the next few days. The engine that he's going to be using as a donor for that one will be on a Scott's, almost like the John Deere that we had. We'll be bringing it home for a project to work on, and a couple other mowers and engines that he don't want. So, with that being said, this is going to be a little bit of a different video. Not my build, but I'm building it for him. He don't have the time to do it, and I do. So, be building this here on the channel for him, trying it out, and then delivering it to him as a low and slammed race mower. So let's get this thing back to the shop and see what we're working with. I think it's going to need a new rear axle, a couple other things. That engine's not going to be used on it. Like I said, it's a 27 horse Briggs V-twin that's going on it, and it's going to be a pulley swapped, fast, straight piped, slammed mower. Way better than the first build. So y'all be sure to stay tuned. Go down there and like the video. Comment down below if you have any questions or just want to say something in general, and be sure to subscribe. And with that being said, let's get this back to the shop and get into today's video. Alright, so we are now back at the house, and we're going to look over this thing real quick. See what we're working with. Looks like we got some seized up pulleys and that belt is like welded to that pulley. Let's see here. We gotta check and make sure our transaxles axle's good. This is gonna be a project for sure. Let's get it off the trailer, get it rolled back in there to the shop, lift this thing up, drop the deck out of it, and see what in the hell we're working with. Alright. Looks like everything is there. Except a lot of things just look really rusty. Alrighty, let's I guess they could get the deck off first, and then worry about yanking everything else, because I know we're going to yank the engine transaxle and all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and get our deck off. Alright, so here's how far we have gotten so far with stripping this down. I went ahead and went past the deck, pulled off all the deck levers and rods and crap that he didn't want. So it is basically now just a lawn tractor, no deck, no none of that. There's still a few brackets and stuff I gotta remove, like this has gotta go for sure. Actually, I'll probably go ahead and pull that out here in a few minutes, because all it takes is to pop one side, pop the other side, and then just slide it out. So I'll do that. And looks like that spring belongs to the clutch. This is a bracket from the spring from the deck. This will be removed, but I got to take this transaxle out too. What we're going to do is we're going to strip this down to nothing but wheels and a frame tonight, because I've got to go tomorrow and pick up the Scots and possibly get the other one over here so I can have parts. And we have to get this stripped tonight so I can pressure wash it tomorrow and sit it outside while I bring the other one in and strip the parts off of it that we need, and then send it back out the door. So with that being said, let's get our rest of our bracketry out of here for our deck, and then let's get our engine off and that belt off, and then we can focus on working on the rest of getting it cleaned up and everything else, prepping it and getting ready for there's the boy, what are you doing? Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? Yeah, he's out here. Oh, goob. Alright, well, let's get this engine off and then we'll go from there. Alright guys, we are done stripping this thing down. We've got our deck and all bracketry off, because if you're building a lowered mower, you do not want all that stuff. So take out all your deck brackets, levers. Also, you want to remove safeties if that's your thing. So I will be going through this wiring probably tomorrow or the next day, and wiring everything without switches and sensors and stupid shit, just to make it a basic key with switch on, switch off. Might actually just yank the wiring out of the one that Shaggy redone and just put it in here. We yanked our engine off. We have it sitting over here. It is a 14.5 overhead valve, and if any of y'all watch the channel, you would know that I just built a 95 Murray for my wife, and it has a 14.5. Actually, it is the same engine, except the cover has a different decal on it. So if I wanted the same look, all I'd have to do is swap the cover over. So I'm probably going to save that as a backup, because it would also be a good backup to the red tractor here. I know it's a 17 high performance, but if anything was to happen to it, I could throw this 14.5 on it and keep running. So we would probably save it for a rainy day, in case we blow an engine, or if I blow up a general. We have been running that intake the past few days. It's possible. They ain't good engines, really. Typically they blow rod outside the block, so I'm just waiting for that to happen. But like I said, this is getting a 27 horsepower Briggs V-twin engine. We will probably be going to fetch that tomorrow. It comes on a tractor that I'm going to be keeping, and the parts tractors I think he said I could have, and other tractors. So I think we're going to have a few around here to do a couple projects with. One I'm going to build for a buddy of mine for a garden tractor, actually till his garden. Might even leave a mower deck on it for him. I've also got 2 more that I'll be probably building, maybe 3 if I build one behind the shop, and I'll be start selling them. So if y'all want a mower and y'all are in the area, you can start, shoot me an email, flyingbrown2293@gmail.com. I'll build you something, whatever. Just, if you got parts, bring them, build one and film it, and you can come get it, take it home, or you can come purchase one. It's all up to you. So with that being said, we got this thing stripped down. Tomorrow we'll be taking this out and pressure washing it really good, cleaning it up, and then starting to build this thing to what he wants. So I'm going to go in and call it a night. And get some rest. And we'll see you guys out here tomorrow. Probably a yard full of tractors. Let's see what we're getting. Alright guys, it has been a couple days actually since I filmed anything on this. I've been having to get my yard mowed, and I have such a huge yard, so it takes a couple days, and I still haven't went and got the stuff from Shaggy yet. I needed to make room for more before I brought more in, so I had to organize all behind the shop where all the tractors are and all that stuff, get everything nice and neat mowed. And but I did do a little bit of this off camera last night. Actually I did quite a bit. Yeah, so let me turn the camera around and I'll show you what I've done. So what we have done is we have dropped his fenders completely flush. There is no longer going to be a battery under the seat as much as it's actually going to, I'm going to make a compartment for it to go in here. So battery will be in here. We dropped his fenders down. They are bolted to the frame. 3 bolts on this side, 3 bolts on the other side, and then I dropped these bolts down too. I just drilled holes in this fender, dropped these down, and bolted them in their new spot. So it gives his fenders a nice lowered look. So also on an MTD, what I did when I lowered the fenders, you see it sitting there. The shifter was in this hole up here. That's where it originally is stock. And this is the bracket for it, which was bolted here. So with the fenders lowered, there was no room to shift. This was hitting the top up here. So what I've done is I disassembled all of this, took it out, dropped it down one, dropped it down one, and now we have shifter. So with that being said, I also kind of wiped this thing down. I haven't pressure washed it yet, but I did wipe it down. I did pull the transaxle. We're going to get ready to pull the wheels off of it here in a few minutes, which it's sitting over there. Take it apart. lock it, and put it back together and do a pulley swap on it. Now, I know that most people say that hydrostats and vari drives are no good for pulley swapping. While I will agree with you on a hydrostat, they don't work. I've tested the theory. All it does with the transaxle is it seems like it wants to speed up for a second, then it just kind of checks out. And then you lower it back down and it kind of engages again. Which it could be different. Hydrostats are, you know, different. I haven't only tested it with a tough torque. So, but we are going to pulley swap this vari drive and see what it does. If it's no good, probably pull the vari drive out of it, get him to get an MST 206 or a Spicer Dana, throw in there locked, and just, you know, put the shifter up through there just like the Craftsman, you know, just like the Beast, and maybe just either cut out the plate for the 6 speeds in reverse, or just swap out a Craftsman plate onto the top, and then you would have 6-speed reverse MST 206, or like I said, Spicer Dana in an MTD chassis. So it is possible, but first we're going to test and see if we can get speed out of the vari drive, because I've actually seen people that have got speed out of the vari drive. How long did it last? I don't know. Only time will tell. But we're going to test this theory, see how good it works. So who knows, might be a alternative to pulley swapping your mower without having to swap and get a specific transaxle. So enough of me yapping. I'm going to show y'all. I did drop the front end. So what I did here, all I did is I flipped the axle. Just took this bracket off, took the bolts out, took and flipped the axle. Really, I flipped it this way. So everything, like this side is still this side is still this side. I didn't like change sides or anything. I just flipped the axle, I kind of rolled it. Put it back up in there, tightened it down, and then what we'll do for our steering is we'll just come off of here with a rod or a flat piece of iron, little a little angle in there to keep it sturdy, weld it all up, and then just drill a hole for our steering arm. And what we'll probably do is flip this where it's inside instead of outside. But we also need to check clearance of the engine that's going to be on this thing. This is a 22 horse, or no, a 27 horse V-twin. But I want to get the frame ready before I go getting parts and getting the engine here. So I want to get everything ready with this frame. I want to get the transaxle locked and reinstalled. I kind of want to get it pulley swapped if I can with what I have. I don't know yet. And just get it prepared. That way I can just slam an engine on it, do some exhaust, and throw a battery on it and some wiring and run the shit out of it. Maybe. I am going to have to get him to get some new belts, because vari drives are a pain in the ass to change a belt, and them belts were kind of shit, so he's not going to want to change them. So we need to get some new ones thrown on there. That way they're new. No, they're not going to fail on us immediately. He don't mind putting a little bit of money into it, so I'm going to let him do that. And we also got the seat mounted, but we hard mounted it. So it's on there. It's slammed as low as I can get it. It is legit just mounted to the frame. So let's go ahead and start tearing apart our transaxle, getting the wheels off, getting this thing apart. See what we're working with, see if it's any good, and we can lock it up, reseal it, start looking at reinstalling it in the MTD build. Alright, so it's another day on the MTD lowered project. I just got back from Shaggy's again, and we have picked up the other tractor that is going to be donating parts to his build. Here's our engine. It's a 27 horsepower Briggs and Stratton Professional Series. I think it's 724 cc's. That's the displacement of this engine. It's a big boy. Yeah, it's a 724. Dadgum. What we're going to do today is we're going to pull this thing up in the shop and see if this engine will fire. And then if it does, we can go ahead and pull it and start looking at installing it into the new build. So let's get it off this trailer and get it back up in there. Alright, so now that we got this thing pulled in the shop and it is looking pretty nasty, but we're not worried about that right now. We're going to film this another day where we fix this tractor up on another video. So the only thing we're worried about today is to see if this engine runs. It is a 27 horse Briggs & Stratton Professional Series, 724 cc. You want to read that, you can pause the video and read it. It is missing the engine cover bolts, but I can put those back on easily. Engine is there, it's all there. I think all we're going to do is put a battery in this thing and see if it kicks over with the key, and see if it will run with some sauce down its throat. And then if it does, we'll move on to pulling this thing out this evening and getting it prepped and ready for this guy right here. Y'all stay tuned, y'all don't want to miss this. It's about to get good. It's about to get real good, because that 724 cc says so right there. Yeah, buddy. Alright, enough of me flapping my gums. Let's get y'all on the stand over here. Let's get some sauce down its throat. See if she talks to us. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear some words. Alright, we're going to go ahead and start pulling our cover off to get to our air filter. And pull it off. I didn't mean to throw it in the dirt. That's a nice filter. It's like brand new. Look at that. That's like a brand new filter in there. Nice. Heck yeah. She gonna breathe good. Let me pause this real quick. I'm going to go over here, grab a battery, snatch one, rob one from one of my machines. Come in here, stick it in here. I got a key for this thing in my pocket. We're going to see if she'll bark. And if she does, then we've got to say, we've got us a runner. So let's get us a battery. Well, I got to looking, and we don't have a solenoid. So that's not going to help us at all. But we're still going to need a key in there to cut it on. Do we have a wasp in there? We do. Look at that little bastard. Let's delete him real quick. I'm not scared of these things. So let's soak him in gas and just let him bathe in it. Yeah. If he comes out, I'll kill his whole damn colony. Screw you. Hate you damn things. And your house is bye-bye. So, piss off. Alright, so now that that's all soaked in gas and it's ready to catch fire, we're probably going to let that, dissipate real quick, because I got a sparker right there to jump the starter, and that's just going to poof. Yeah, great. Let's go ahead and burn it down as soon as we get it. So, yeah, let's wait for that to dissipate real quick, and we'll go ahead and just hot this thing to the battery and see if it'll kick over without some gas in it, without the key on. And then once we know that it will, we'll shoot some happy sauce down its throat and kick that key over, and then jump that starter and see if she'll run. Now that our fuel is dissipated from the where I soaked it, we're going to hot this starter real quick to the battery. We're going to see if this engine turns over. Alright, sounds like the starter just slammed in there, but it spins. So, have that round. What? Okay, we got an engine. It spins over. So now, next step, let's see, make sure we get all this under, needs to go. Now let's kick this key over. Let's shoot some sauce down the throat. Let's bark it off. Alright, we got us a runner. Sounds like it runs pretty good, Marshall. In the house. In the house. In the house. In the house, bud. In the house. Alright, let's do that again just for safe measure. I want to hear it run again. Sauce down its throat. Okay, we got us a runner. So let's go ahead and start yanking an engine. We have got down to the exhaust pipes, took the muffler off, took the guards off that were all busted up. We're not going to use them. We have got this thing lifted up in the air, and we have one bolt removed out of the engine so far, and the engine pulley assembly. So we've got 3 more left to remove, then we'll drop it back down, throw some straps around that V-twin, and yank it out with the cherry picker. Let's get to it. as you see, we got our engine off for our low and fast. So what we're going to do is go ahead and put the ramps back under this, get it down, put the hood back on it, put all the parts that go with it on it, and then we're going to put it on the trailer so we can stuff it back in the back, and you will see this again in another video. So y'all be sure to stay tuned and subscribe to the YouTube channel to see what I do with this. And it's going to be pretty cool. Alright guys, getting kind of late. I got a job to do tomorrow, but we did get the engine pulled off of the tractor, and it is hanging up here. I'm going to have to flip the exhaust little headers there, because they're going to hit the frame when I go down with it. Other than that, once we flip those around, we can drop this thing in place, get it bolted in, and start running our wiring, figuring out clearances for steering rod and tie rod and everything else, hood, all that good stuff. So we'll be getting back on this tomorrow and hopefully getting that engine stabbed in place and maybe hearing it run on this chassis, maybe. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. What's going on, guys? It is the next day. Was going to stab the engine in this thing last night, but everything just got so hectic. I just got a bunch of jobs. I'm busy here, there, and everywhere. So I kind of changed plans. Right now I'm going to go ahead. I've got the bolts out of the case on the MTD transaxle. We're going to go ahead and open this up real quick, weld our gears, get this thing done so I can get it back up in here tonight, and then I can drop the engine on it. And hopefully I can get that done tonight, because I got a job tomorrow. I got a whole bunch of stuff to do. Run around like a chicken with my head cut off. But let's see how much we can get done tonight. If we can get transaxle and the engine in, we're good. So let's get to work and don't waste no time. Alright, so I didn't cut the camera on when I opened the case, but here it is opened. It is already locked. But these Very drives are a little different here. They have the spider gears inside of this housing, and it is kind of a pain in the butt to weld up, but once you get it, you get it. This one is locked, so everything's turning like it should. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put this thing back together, put the case back on it, all that good stuff, and go ahead and get ready to put it back up in the mower here. I've got some 18s instead of those 20s. I picked those up from Shaggy the other day. They're 18 by 8.5/8. So we will mount these to these wheels and give it a little more of a lower look. Get this transaxle mounted up in there, and then we can go ahead and move on to the engine. So I say I'm making pretty good headway today, and I'm happy about it. So what we're going to do now is assemble this case, get it done. Let's go ahead and put our case back together. It's okay, Marshall. Let's get our disc on. Still got our brakes in there. You want this to be able to guide freely. On these teeth here, so it can back and forth when you engage and release the brake. So that's better. Okay. Figure out the way this goes. Alright, now you can just, I don't care what you want, you're going in there. Okay. Get our brake back in there. Alright, we have a fully assembled transaxle. Well, except for our pulley. Damn, I gotta do a pulley. I forgot about that. Alright, just got the transaxle back up here from down there at the other shop. Had to go down there and get the tires aired up. So we got our 18s on now. We got our clutch system bolted to the transmission with our spring in place. All we need to do now is find a smaller pulley, and then we can go ahead and start reinstalling our transaxle back up in the MTD build. So I'm going to run down to the field of parts real quick and check out, see what I got out there, and see if I have a pulley that will fit this transaxle. Then hopefully we can just bolt it right on and keep going. Alright, we finally got our pulley installed. I actually just opted on welding one instead of going through all the hassle of cutting out and hubbing it, because honestly I don't think this transaxle is going to last very long. I just have a feeling probably going to end up putting the MST 206 in it that's locked, but even if we don't and it does last and all that good stuff, we probably won't be pulley swapping it from that, so we'll just leave that and pulley swap the front later on. So let's go ahead and get this transaxle back in the mower and hooked up, and then hopefully we might have enough time to stab the engine tonight as well. Alright, so we got our transaxle in finally. Actually I do got to put a couple more bolts in it that I had forgot about, but I'll get those in there in just a minute. But that's what it's looking like without or with it dropped down. I think it's looking pretty good. Like I said, I just got 2 more bolts I got to put in that rear end. Once we get some belts, we can hook up the clutches and get them adjusted and the brakes and all that good stuff, but for now I left it. Also went ahead and put in the ignition switch real quick. Went ahead and put the plate on and the shifter knob just so I wouldn't lose everything, and everything will be all kind of dressed up. Put the tank in. I did not have a or I don't have a gas cap for it yet, so it's just going to kind of sit in there we're going to go ahead and put the engine on tonight, at least get it set in place, and then we can probably call it for the evening. But let's go ahead and look at sitting this engine down on that chassis, see what it looks like, see what our clearances are, see if I have to adjust anything, and then we'll go ahead and bolt her down and call it a night. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and lower this engine into place. Ooh, too fast, too fast. It's a big boy. Is it going to fit? That's the question. That is like entirely too much engine for that. Alright, well, now that we got it sitting on the mower here, let's take it off the stand. It actually looks good on there. I don't know about wheel clearances. Well, that's probably going to clear. I probably have to put some steering stops on each side just to be sure that everything will stop where it needs to stop, but it looks like that should clear. I gotta figure out what I want to do about the exhaust and all that good stuff, but I can always turn those later now that I see that it's going to clear the steering rod, I think. So, good on that. I'm going to go ahead and get this unhooked and bolted down, and then we'll see what it looks like once I get that done. Alright guys, about to call it a night, but before I do, we have our engine mounted. And look at that thing. Damn. That looks really cool. Yeah, buddy. I dig this. This actually looks really good with the MTD chassis, especially an older one with that squared off dash. And like I said, it's perfect. All you'd have to do is make you a block off plate here, take this shit out of here, take this out. You could either cut it out for this, or you could just take a plate from a Craftsman here that has a 6 speeds now. It's not going to have these notches because I cut these out myself. Just to, you know, when I'm on the trail or riding, it'll lock itself in gear and not bump it in my leg. But yeah, that's first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and reverse. So you could take a Craftsman plate and adapt it here, do away with this one, do away with the Vari-Drive, run a one belt system with a different clutch like a AYP style, and run an MST206 locked or a Spicer Dana locked, which would be way better than this. But need to run this setup, see how it's gonna be. Who knows, it might blow my mind. I'm not aware yet, but I did pulley swap the transaxle. I think it's like a 4-inch, maybe a 4.5-inch pulley that I installed on the shaft, and that transaxle is locked, so it should perform well. It looks good. Those tires look good on it. I just really am starting to dig this build. I'm going to go ahead and grab the hood real quick and see if it'll fit and see what it looks like with the hood on it, and then I'm going to call it a night. And here it is with the hood on it. I like the louvers on the top, although it kind of looks like a vacuum. Looks like it's like ready to suck up the dirt. And now that I've seen that, I can't unsee it, but yeah, still looks pretty good though. I really like it. I like it a lot. It looks sick. Marshall really likes it. You see his butt wagging around. He's like, heck yeah, man, that's an awesome build. I want to ride it, Daddy. Don't you, bud? Don't you, bud? You're a good boy. Yeah, that's a good boy. He approves. So I dig it too. I like that angle right there. Kind of see the louvers down the hood. It looks pretty badass. But since I got all that done, I'm happy with that. That's a good bit of hard work done. Now I've just got to kind of adjust things, get some belts on, do a little wiring, get a battery mounted, all that good stuff, and then we'll have this thing all squared away. So I guess really the hard part's done. Now it's just to the intricate, small, little long jobs, if you'd say. They're little, but they take a long time to do because they're such a pain in the butt. I know he did say that he was going to paint this after he got it back, so I'll probably wash it, clean it up after I'm done, just to get a nice little idea what it looks like. Probably ride the crap out of it, see how it does, and we'll send it off to him. And well, I might let him ride it first, just in case it breaks. But we'll film it. So, alright guys, I'm going to go in here and get some rest. I got a job to do tomorrow, and then I will be back out here tomorrow after work to come and maybe do some wiring and get that situated. So, see you guys tomorrow. So I want to take a quick second and pause the video and ask y'all to help me with something. I need y'all to do me a favor. Go down and hit that subscribe button. Smash it. Smash that bell. Go like the videos. You know, tell me where you're from. Say hi. Whatever. Ask me questions. It doesn't matter. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs. And I cannot do that without your guys' help. So definitely go subscribe. Check out Facebook, the Instagram, the Snapchat, and now we have a TikTok. You can just go type in Flying Brian's Garage and you will find me. All the profile pictures are the same. It's easy to find. And yeah, give me some likes, give me some subscribes, and all that good stuff. I'm trying to build this, and I can't build it without everybody's help. So, hope you guys are enjoying the videos. You know, got a lot of good videos coming, constantly coming, and I'm constantly sourcing new projects. So, stay tuned, and with that being said, let's get back to the video. Alright guys, so this is the next night. We're back out here on this project. I'm letting the tire air up over here because it was so flat. Covered the front one with what we beaded instead. Great. I'll have to rebead that later. I think what I'm going to go ahead and do tonight is get a little welding done. I'm going to get the steering rod hooked up to the stuff there, where I can steer it. Maybe start looking at where the exhaust is going to be ran. That's going to be a tricky one. Maybe just like to look at it. But once that tire airs up, we can get it up here and start kind of finding us something that we can weld in place and drill a hole through so we can have our steering rod hooked up to the spindle there, and probably figure out what else we can do on this thing tonight. Just kind of get some stuff out of the way and get it just a little bit closer to being done, because I kind of need to get this thing done. I've got a lot going on, so the quicker the better. So with that being said, let's go ahead and do what we need to do for the night. Alright, we got the mower drug up here. Now we're gonna look at welding this right in there for our stuff to bolt to, and then we're gonna add this little doohickey there, like that, to kind of brace it from bending. So let's go ahead and get the welder out and start welding that up to our spindle so we can get our steering rod connected. And before you do this, guys, what you want to do is you want to make sure your wheels are completely straight with the rear. So you want to look at it from the front, from the back, from the sides, and all that stuff. You want to make sure everything is straight. So that is straight, as you can see. And then you want to make sure your wheel is straight. But you also want to look at your gear. And anytime, whenever you have a box gear or fan gear, you want to make sure you are halfway in the middle of that gear. That way you will have the same amount of left turn as you will right turn. And also that means that you will have your alignment right, so your steering wheel will be straight when your wheels are straight. Some people aren't into, they don't care if their wheel's straight when their wheels are straight, but I do. On the low CD with there, I like everything to be in alignment, so if that's what you're looking for out of your alignment, that's what you need to do. Wheels straight up here on your steering wheel. Make sure you're halfway on your gears on your box or your fan blade and hook it up. Good to go, every time. So, with that being said, let's get the welder out and tap this in place. Go ahead and run a good bead around it, get our steering rod hooked up, and have steering. So let's get it done. Alright, well, after about a little bit of fighting with trying to get a good ground and all that good stuff, and getting some beads laid, we've got our axle welded solid to the frame, and it is straight with everything. So, yep. And on this side, we also did the same thing. Welded it all the way down. We did not weld the front side, that way that we could still remove this plate if we need to. And there's the steering arm. Now you're going to hear a noise when I turn this, because this is actually resting on the steering right now, and so is the exhaust there. But we're going to go ahead. We got steering. So that's one thing out of the way. And now tomorrow I'm going to be working on the shop. I've got to do some work in the actual shop so we can eventually get back in it instead of always being in the carport. So I'll be working on that tomorrow, and then I'll probably get back at this like the next day or two after that. So yeah, I'm gonna go in here and get some rest, do some editing, and kind of come up with an idea of what I'm gonna get at when I come back out here. So I'll see you guys in a couple days. Alright guys, it is another night. Kind of having to stretch this build into a million days, it feels like, because all the crap I got to do during the day now. Used to have more time, but not so much anymore. Work's picked up a lot for me, so I'm running jobs in the day now and kind of doing the projects at night. But hey, as long as it's still getting done right. So and we have the right light, because working at night kind of sucks if you don't have the right light. That's kind of why I mounted these lights here to the camera, because most of the time you can't see me or see what in the hell we're looking at. So now you can. I guess let's go ahead and get up under here. Let's lift this thing up a little bit. Let's take our exhaust pipes off, turn them around, and put them back up on there. That way we can start figuring out where we need to route this stuff. So I know they'll dump out the side. That's what he wants. He wants them under the fenders, kind of right there at the back, like I did with the General, but duals, of course. So There's one. Let's go to the other side. This is going to be a royal pain in the ass. Alright guys, so we got our exhaust actually set up for modifications. I couldn't do anything tonight because it's so late and I couldn't be cutting out here. I need to do that in the daylight, so we're going to finish modifying the exhaust later, but really all you got to do with these V-twins if you want them to tuck in more is take the exhaust pipes off, swap sides, so put the right on the left, left on the right, and then turn them backwards. So mount them the other way on the flange and they will stick back and down and tuck in next to the frame. The only thing I'll have to do is, if you see, and I know I'll explain why the engine is hanging in a second, it's really close to your oil filter there, so what is preferred for my perfection of, you know, the way I like things, you'd hate to be able, or you'd hate to have to take your exhaust pipe off every time you change your oil filter, correct? So what you want to do is you want to cut this pipe, cut some out of it, and kind of tuck this in a little more, weld it, and then you're good. But really you don't want such a drastic turn. So what you want to do is you want to kind of cut it in here and then get it to where it kind of maybe dumps this way. And then you can run it. And it's a more smoother transition. But same with this side, it is hitting the oil drain tube, so we will be cutting it and doing the same thing. And on this MTD frame, it likes to hit this bolt, so what you got to do is you got to finesse it a little and beat the crap out of it with a hammer to knock a little indention out of it, so that way it kind of sits in here, because it barely hits that bolt right there when you turn it. So you just knock it a couple times, put a little small dent in it, and it clears it just fine. But the reason we have this up here is because I need to do a front pulley swap. And if you look at this MTD frame, well, the pulley sits up in here. This is your belt catches there. So going bigger requires to cut this out. But since the pulley sits so much up into the frame, really, to make it work, make the pulley clear, because the lip kind of sticks up in here some, I need to cut all of this out, like all the way around. And actually probably up here. Take that whole thing out. So that's what I'm going to have to do. I don't want to, but I have to. So that's why the engine is off. And then hopefully tomorrow when I'm done with my job, I'll come back out here and have enough time in the daylight to come out here, cut that out, and then we can hopefully set the engine back down on it. We can do our exhaust, and then I can do my pulley swap there. So I guess I'm gonna go in here and get some rest. It's like 12:30, 12:45. I'm pretty tired, so I'm gonna go in here and get some rest for tomorrow, and I will see you guys tomorrow, hopefully in the daylight. Alright guys, we are back out here again. It is another day. Actually, something came up and I didn't go do that job today. It is scheduled for tomorrow now, so I actually have all of today to work on the project. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some metal work today. Like I said last night, we have to cut out for our pulley, so we're going to do that. Then we'll sit our engine back down once we cut this out. Then what we can do is we can go ahead and start working on our exhaust. Get that cut out and everything. Also going to need to do something about a pulley, so I can pulley swap this. But first step, hole cut, engine put back down. Second step, exhaust. So let's go ahead and get the hole cut out, engine put on, and then we can start mocking up us a custom dual exhaust straight pipe for this tractor. Alright guys, about an hour later, and we got our hole cut out. Yes, it did take me an hour because that is not a grinder. It is a freaking tile saw. I've been making it work, so I have to let it cool down because it's actually not made for that kind of use. So I'll cut a little bit, let it cool, then come cut some more. But as you see, we have our hole cut out. We are ready to bolt our engine back up to the frame. So let's get it back lowered back down there, get the bolts ran in, and get her bolted up. And we can go ahead and start mocking up our new exhaust pipe. Alright, progress. We got our engine mounted back to the body and frame. And now we have acceptable room for a pulley swap. So we'll get to that later. But for now, we are modifying our exhaust, and I think I'm going to go ahead and cut a piece for the overhead valve here. I usually use old push rods, especially the metal ones. You don't want to use the aluminum ones, but the metal ones you can just cut, weld, and it's like a little nipple. You can just put a regular hose on it, and you ain't got to have that special hose fitting for your overhead valve, which I don't like. So I'd rather just do the thing and convert it. So we're gonna do that real quick, and then move on to finishing our exhaust. I've already kind of chopped it up a little here, and we're gonna mod it to fit in there so I can bolt it up to the head. Then we can worry about where we're gonna get that to dump down, and yeah, then we can continue on with, you know, making exhaust for the other side. So let's get this done real quick, and then we'll get into our exhaust project. Making progress on the exhaust system. So, like I said, you take them, flip them, and then turn them, and then you do a couple of chops, and then you end up with that. Just like so. And same over here. So it still clears the steering. It's not going to interfere with the tires. It's not going to interfere with the oil drain or any of that. You want it away from all that stuff. So I opted to do this shape, and that way it dumps straight out. I don't have to do any funky angles. All my angles are in here. And all that good stuff. I did have to add a piece of patch metal in here and kind of bend it in, but I made that work. Everything's sealed. It's just kind of basic mounted for now. That way when I go to add the rest of the pipe, which I'm going to do that here in a minute, it'll be easy to just tack it, take it off, weld the rest of it, and then bolt it back on. And I'm going to do that on both sides. But it is pretty symmetrical for something that I did not measure. You can kind of see, there we go, there's the pipe, and then we come over here and there's the pipes. I mean, that's pretty good. And once I weld the rest of it up, it ain't gonna matter. But excuse me, for some eyeball shit, I'd say it's pretty good. I also welded up our hose bib there on the overhead valve, and got a hose running up to our vacuum pump now. So we have the carburetor hooked up to the vacuum pump, the vacuum hooked up to the pump, and we have a line running back here to a shut off. We will add a fuel filter and then hook into the tank. We also need to still get a gas cap, and I need to get the wiring switch panel from Shaggy, along with the wiring harness, which I'll probably just tear out of his, put it in here along with the solenoid and everything else. So, but for now, let's get to finishing up our exhaust. I'm going to go ahead and go out to the storage out there and see if I can find some. Well, I know I can, but I'm going to go look for some of my exhaust pipe, and come back up here and see what we can cobble together and make a straight pipe dual exhaust for the 27 horse 724 cc V-twin. Alright, more progress on the exhaust. You just bolt it up and in place. I thought I was going to need a hanger, but it is very solid. Very solid. And it kind of is hidden, which I like. So, that's one side. We're going to get to this other side here, which I've only got the manifold done, and it's loosely in there. So we're going to go ahead and add our pipe here. It is far down as you can. Turn it, and then we'll add our tip to the end. So let's get this side done so we can go ahead and call it a night before it gets too late. And then tomorrow what we'll probably do is come out here, throw a little gas in the tank, hook up a fuel line, and hear this thing run. Because I want to hear it run. I'm sure you guys want to hear it run. I think it'll sound really good with these tips on it. Had good experience with these tips on the red tractor with the good sounding single cylinder. So I think this V-twin's going to sound unique. So let's get this side done and see what it looks like. I cannot wait to hear how this sounds tomorrow, because it looks cool. Turn y'all around. There we go. Exhaust. Look at them duals hanging down, baby. Yeah, buddy. Straight out the sides. It is almost completely symmetrical. Built out of scrap. Yeah, it's got a couple of dents and dings in it there because it's scrap. But you know what? It really turned out good. I really like it. I tried to shape it the best I could. Those are the duals. We will hear these tomorrow when I get back from a job that I gotta go take care of. We'll dump some gas in the gas tank, and I'll hook us up a fuel line. I've actually got most of it here. We'll just have to get just a little bit to go from there to the fuel tank, and then we can actually see if our fuel pump works. And I actually found this fuel pump off of a job I did. They replaced the fuel pump on this lady's tractor, and there was nothing wrong with it. So actually the vacuum hose had a hole in it, and the solenoid had a bad wire, so the solenoid wasn't working properly. But I was doing her deck the other day afterwards, and was kicking around in the dirt, and wouldn't you know that fuel pump was down there. So I blew it out, and should be good. So we're going to see if it is. If it's not, we'll put another one on there, but I'm pretty sure that'll be good for this build. It actually was a Briggs & Stratton 26 horse engine, same cover, so I do believe that. I know that all vacuum fuel pumps are the same, but knowing that it came off of an engine that size, so it should be good. Still got to get some wiring crap from him, and really need to go pick up another mower. But I'm also out of welding wire. I was able to put a steering stop on to limit the steering to the left because of the tie rod there. You know, you don't want to smack it, but I'm wondering if I should leave it like that to where it turns all the way left, because it's mainly going to be a racer and turning left. I don't know. I might ride it and see. But we do need some new welding wire, so I'm going to have to get some of that. But enough of me yapping. I'm going to go ahead, go in here and get some rest, and go get what I need to get done tomorrow so we can get back on this. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. Alright guys, I'm actually working on a different project today, but I do want to fire this up, and Shaggy wants to hear it run. I do too. So we've got tow rig in here. I got the jumper cables hooked up. We don't have the wiring hooked up yet, so we're just going to do a direct hookup for that. I'm probably just going to take this fuel shut off here off and plug the tank directly in, pour a little gas in it, and we'll see what she'll do. But I'd like to try to fire this thing up today and see if we got a working carburetor. Because all I did previously in the video was dump some fuel down the throat and hear it bark off a couple times, but we never did try to run it off its own fuel supply. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to get y'all over here set up on the tripod camera stand, and we'll go ahead and see if it runs. Okay, it does run. It's a runner. It just needs a couple things still. Might honestly have to cut this into a two-part video because of how everything is just turning out, and you know, of course I got to put out a video or I'll fall out of the algorithm. So probably going to cut this one here. We'll just do a part 2. It'll be in a two-part series, and you know, we'll knock it out. Part 2, you ain't gonna want to miss it. That's when this thing's gonna be up and running, and we'll be screaming around the yard on this thing. It sure does run good. Marshall, he don't like that. He don't like that at all. Come here, buddy. I'm not gonna fire it up again, I promise. Not while you in here. You won't say bye? Say bye. Alright, well, I'm gonna cut this video here, and like I said, there'll be a part 2. So y'all stay tuned for that. And, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok. Only one that's different is the Snapchat. It's an avatar. Everyone else is the same profile picture as the YouTube. You can go to those platforms, type in Flying Brian's Garage in the search engines. You should find me. Go watch some of the older videos. Stay tuned for the newer videos, and the best way to stay tuned, hit that subscribe button. Go down, hit the all notifications bell. You'll be notified every time I put out a new video, which is every 3 to 5 days. There has been a couple times where I just got a little busy, had to go 6, but usually every 3 to 5 days. But yeah, I hope you guys liked this video. Go down there and leave a like down below if you did. Comment down below if you want to say something, say hi, or whatever. Don't matter. I try to reply to everyone within, you know, due time. I am kind of a busy guy, but you know, I will reply. So, have a question or just anything, just give me a holler down in the comments. I can't wait to see this thing running. I cannot wait. It sounds really good, and camera doesn't do it justice, unfortunately. My phone, it don't sound good on the phone. It sounds so good in person. But maybe I'll just have to come out to one of the car meets here and check it out for yourself. Shaggy Small Engines on YouTube. This is where this is going after it's built. And Shaggy's Repairs on Facebook. y'all be sure to go subscribe to him. Follow him on Facebook and HIPAstore.com. www.HIPAstore.com. Go check them out. They got a bunch of great parts, reasonable prices. They have kits, they have individuals, they have a lot of stuff. So just go on their website, search. They have a pretty cool incentive for first-time buyers, especially if you sign up with an account. So I would go check them out. But until then, like I said, like, comment, subscribe. Go check out the other platforms and check out some of them older videos. And until then, I will see you guys on the next episode.